WrestleMania is the biggest night on the sports entertainment calendar, well, biggest 2 nights now, where everyone is hoping to either have the best match or create the best WrestleMania moment for themselves. With so many eyes on the event and knowing it will go down in history, to be rewatched and combed over until the end of time, WWE superstars are usually very precise with what they wear for it. We've seen some stunners over the years, and I'm obviously not talking about the variety Mr. Plain Black Boots and Trunks Steve Austin gives out, but the following 10 are hard to beat. I'm Adam Pacitti from Cultaholic Wrestling, and these are the 10 best WrestleMania attires. Join us. Number 10, Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 12. At WrestleMania 12, Shawn Michaels knew that people were going to be looking at him for an entire hour as he battled WWE Champion Bret Hart in an Iron Man match. The showstopper was used to displaying flamboyance with his wrestling gear and typically wore a different outfit for each match, including intricate entrance attire such as jackets, chaps, and vests covered in mirrors, studs, and chains. For the biggest bout of his career, the Heartbreak Kid super kicked things up a notch by not only rappelling from the ceiling in a spectacular entrance, but also wearing very classy white tights with silver, gold, and black detail. The boyhood dream came true with HBK looking every bit the sexy boy he claimed to be. Right, lads? Right? Truth is, Mr. WrestleMania always made sure that he was well dressed for the showcase of the Immortals. Another cracking HBK ensemble was the one that he wore at WrestleMania 25. Decked out in all white and once again descending from above, it was a simple yet brilliant contrast to his opponent, The Undertaker. Number 9, Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania 35. Rey Mysterio has always had some of the best gear in the business, dating back to his early days in WCW. Seemingly coming out with a new mask and outfit every single week, the master of the 619 must have put his gear maker's kids through college 10 times over by this point. From his WrestleMania 19 debut onwards, Mysterio has usually pulled something special out of his deep bag for the event, often in homage to a superhero or film character. We've had Daredevil Mysterio, Flash Mysterio, Na'vi Mysterio, Captain America Mysterio, and Joker Mysterio, to name but a few. At WrestleMania 35, we finally got Mysterio. No, that's not Rey Mysterio dressed as himself, but as the Spider-Man supervillain as portrayed by Jake Gyllenhaal in that year's film Far From Home. Ray looked incredible in the green, purple, and gold getup, which included an elaborate cape for his entrance. The level of detail was awe-inspiring, and it must have taken hours to put it all together. What a shame it was then that an injured Mysterio was duly beaten by Samoa Joe in just 58 seconds. Number 8, The Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 7. If we were judging who the best professional wrestler is based solely on how consistently great their ring attire is, then The Ultimate Warrior would probably win by a landslide, or at the very least, tie with Macho Man Randy Savage. The ever-colourful Warrior had a pair of trunks and tassels in every colour of the rainbow, and with his pumped-up physique and huge hair, he looked like a superhero come to life, so there was no need to cosplay as one. For his retirement match meeting with Savage at WrestleMania 7, Jim Hellwig went even further than usual with a breathtaking airbrush design that referenced the bout in question. Not only was it characteristically colourful, but it also featured the likeness of both competitors on his kegs and knee pads. The entrance gear too was fabulous, and Warrior made sure that his paint, hair, and everything else was action figure worthy. Warrior's gear at Mania 6, 8, and 12 were also memorable ones and showed why, when it came to marketing and attention to detail, he was considered as one of the industry's very best. Number 7, Jerry Lawler at WrestleMania 27. Despite being in WWE since late 1992, it took Jerry Lawler until 2011 until he got his own WrestleMania moment. The King had never wrestled at the granddaddy of them all because most of the time he was calling the show's action from the commentary desk. At WrestleMania 27, he finally got to perform on the grandest stage against fellow announcer Michael Cole. You win some, you lose some, I guess. While Cole dressed for combat in a purposefully hideous orange singlet that helped highlight just how ungainly he was, Jerry showed just how timeless he is with a classic throwback. Though he looked immaculate, the Memphis legend had actually recycled an outfit from 1980 which, according to Lawler, was inspired by the rock band Kiss. The match may have been a complete and utter disaster on almost every level, but at least the King looked the business out there, especially during his entrance. On the subject of this match, I cannot believe it's 11 years years old now. Speaking of 11-year-olds, did you hear the one about Jerry Lawler? And number 6, Rick Rude at WrestleMania 5. Rick Rude didn't just use his airbrush tights to look good, but often as psychological warfare on his opponents or as a way to continue angles and storylines. Who could forget Ravishing Rick wearing a pair with Jake the Snake's wife's face planted squarely on the crotch? He certainly lived up to his name there, didn't he? The rude part, that is, not Rick. Anyway, the mustachioed hardnut was at it again at WrestleMania 5, where he met the Ultimate Warrior over Warrior's Intercontinental title. After taking off his glittering robe, the sexiest man alive revealed the pink spandex which had the Intercontinental title painted on the front and Warrior's face painted on the rear. Talk about confidence, the super ripped Rude was basically telling his opponent that the title was already his. That confidence clearly helped Ravishing Rick as he managed to avoid getting squashed like a handsome bug, as was Warrior's style at the time, taking the champ on a ride for 10 minutes before incredibly getting the win. Oh, and a quick reminder that if you would like to wear something with a wrestling legend's face on it, then I still have 37 boxes of these left. Number 5, The Undertaker at WrestleMania 28. Perhaps the star most synonymous with WrestleMania is the man with the mythical streak. The Undertaker's appearance at WrestleMania was typically one of the most anticipated parts of the event, especially when the streak wore on, and seeing it defended arguably became a bigger deal than the world title matches. This coincided with the dead man becoming a special attraction and then WrestleMania exclusive performer. Since he was wrestling so sporadically and his matches had so much hype, Taker made sure he instantly captivated people's attention with his appearance, whether it was with a change in hairstyle or his gear. For his end of an era epic with Triple H at WrestleMania 28, the Phenom suited up like he was going into war. Which he was really, since he and the game intended to leather one another for half an hour inside Hell in a Cell. Taker made his way to the match in a long hooded coat covered in spikes. It looked class. The actual gear he wore for combat, a standard pair of black everything with his trademark insignia, was as classic as the match itself. Number 4, LOD and Sunny at WrestleMania 14. Ooh, what a rush of blood to my you-know-what when I saw Sunny make her entrance wearing that at WrestleMania 14. The Legion of Doom were a timeless act that were always going to be popular with WWE fans, but they needed a little touch-up from time to time, at least as far as their look went. Adding a goddamn puppet probably wasn't the best idea, it might have actually been the worst, but adding a blonde bombshell most certainly was, especially during the testosterone-filled Attitude Era. Making sure they turned heads from their first appearance together, Hawk, Animal and Sunny wore matching outfits for the show's opener, which LOD 2001, naturally. Not only did Miss Sitch look, pardon my chauvinism here, but absolutely delightful in that barely there thing she had on, but the artists formerly known as the Road Warriors also looked boss in their airbrushed shoulder pads and helmets. Look, they already had an appealing smash mouth style, cracking entrance music, and a solidified identity and legacy in the business, but now they had a hot chick in a spiky bra too. Some guys get all the luck. Number 3, Ric Flair at WrestleMania 24. One of the greatest to ever lace up a pair of boots, Ric Flair commanded attention with his styling and profiling ways, with an emphasis on the word styling. Always one to rock the finest threads, the Nature Boy probably wears a custom-made 3-piece suit when he does the weekly Tesco run. When wrestling, Flair usually keeps it simple with plain boots and trunks, save for his ostentatious robes. For his WrestleMania 24 retirement match against Shawn Michaels, Slick Rick put on a special one-time robe and wore blue gear for the first time in an age. Knowing it was the last time he was ever going to be able to wrestle, until Dixie Carter opened the purse strings anyway, Flair was determined to leave a lasting impression with his garb. His match with Michaels is one that nobody will ever forget, and it was an outfit that nobody will soon forget either. Interestingly, in Flair's first 3 WrestleMania matches, 8, 18 and 20, he wore all red. Wait, was that interesting? Probably not, I guess, but, woo! Let's move on. Number 2, Edge at WrestleMania 37. Since establishing himself as a true single-starter watch during his early Rated R Superstar days, Edge has routinely busted out some striking clobber when it comes to WrestleMania. At Mania 21, he wore some rare silver threads, at 22 he dressed appropriately for his street fight with Mick Foley, and at 24 he broke out some camouflage beauties, presumably in the hope that The Undertaker wouldn't be able to see him and thus beat him to a pulp. Since coming back from an almost 10-year layoff where he looked to be permanently retired, the Hall of Famer has worn a new set for pretty much all of his matches. And why wouldn't he? I mean, some people put on a new pair of underwear every single day. This man's performing in front of millions. Saving the best of the bunch for the biggest show of the year and his first match with actual fans in attendance since his Royal Rumble return, Edge looked the absolute bollocks when he made his way to the ring for the Universal title main event of the second night of WrestleMania 37. Number 1, Macho Man Randy Savage at WrestleMania 3. Trunks, tights, vests, robes, a crown, bejeweled sunglasses, those leather pants and sparkly shirts he wore at the end in WCW, doesn't matter what it was, Randy Savage looked damn good wearing it. Known for his obsessive attention to detail and OTT showmanship, the Macho Man invested a lot of time and money into his outfits throughout his career, so you better believe he was going to try his darndest to win Best Dressed at the Showcase of the Immortals. He wore several outfits at WrestleMania 4, where he won his first WWE title in a multi-match tournament, looked immaculate as the Macho King at 6, kept up with Warrior at 7, and glittered in gold and black against Flair at 8, where he won his second WWE title. Though these were all eye-grabbing costumes, the best Savage WrestleMania attire, and the best WrestleMania attire period, was beautiful in its simplicity. Sparkly robe, pink trunks, yellow knee pads, yellow boots. An iconic look for an iconic performer in an iconic match on an iconic show. Ooh yeah, dig it!